All right, this is the first members video. And I'm just gonna do a little bit of just kind of an impromptu video here. I'm gonna jump through some of the top things I obviously cover every single week. Again, I'm not a financial advisor. The goal here is just to give you what I'm seeing, and don't take this as any kind of financial advice. Things could go up, they could go down, they could go sideways. Nobody knows which way the market's going to go. I'm just giving you uh, my best interpretation based on what I'm looking at. The goal with some of these members videos is just to go into, a little bit more frequency, a little bit more depth, maybe a little bit more the low time frame. Again, just remember, folks, when I do low time frame videos, the propensity is to get less and less accurate. Okay, the last few weeks have been very accurate in terms of some of the directional calls on the low time frame. That's going to end. Let's just be honest, right? It's like being at a casino. You can win 6, 7 hands in a row. You're not going to win the next 6, 7 hands in a row. And so it's just the law of probabilities. The more you're taking attempts at gauging price action on the short term, the more the market is going to be right than you are. But that being said, it is kind of nice to see, at least on the low time frame, discounts, relatively being, fairly accurate, right? So since this area, I'm calling this the minor two, 1, 2, and then you've got a sub ABC2, and then within that we've got a smaller degree 1, 2, backed up to that last point of support region. And as I've been contending, as I'm combining this analysis with Wyckoff, entered expansion, and we entered expansion last week. And so the way I've been interpreting this is the smaller degree 1, 2 coming out of here was looking for 3 in this region to correct. I'm looking for a flat type of correction, which would be something, something like that. Running flat could be, an expanded flat, right? I'm not really looking for much of a deep pullback here. Why? Why am I not looking for a deep pullback? Well, because of what I described on the weekend video. I just I don't think the market gives people the opportunity that they want to get positioned after such a long reaccumulation event. And so if we just kind of zoom in here again, market is looking really healthy. If we just pull up, this is a 4-hour chart. I've got up the 5, the 9, and the 20. Even a move down to 82.8 is still well within the context of a healthy pullback in an uptrend. So again, a lot of room here, a lot of room to run, a lot of room to consolidate potentially in the short term. Maybe since I'm calling this a 3-4, we could get some type of triangle, right? Prior to movement out. Who knows? Who knows? But this is my base case. Again, like I said last week or over the weekend, I just don't expect a retest of these low 70s. I really don't. I'd be shocked if we got anywhere below 82 on this move. Wicks aside in any sustained price action. And so the way I'm kind of looking at this, again, from a lower time frame, is expansion. And so many paths are on the table, but I do see us challenging 100K sometime either this month or next month, prior to maybe a interim correction, and then move up towards the $132,000 region. That's where I'm kind of seeing multiple points of confluence, potentially the multi-week, maybe multi-month type correction. But for now, that's the way I'm monitoring things as we go. If we look at, again, back to the high time frame weekly chart here, what I like seeing here, what I really like seeing here is a couple things. Look at where this weekly RSI currently stands. We've gotten over 70. And this, again, that's what we want to see. We want to see power behind the move. Where else have we seen power behind the move get to 70? We've seen it, where did it do that? October 2023. February, early February 2024. Where didn't we see it? I've been hearing a lot of calls for this, potential corrective move. You don't see corrective moves typically ever when weekly RSI gets into 70. This corrective move back in 2021, right here, I'm pointing at, folks, that breached all-time high. Where was the RSI? Didn't breach 70. That's a pretty massive bearish divergence. Here, that is not the case. Okay, so we've got true power behind this move. Weekly RSI over 70 is a hallmark, in my opinion, of an impulsive movement. And let's see what else has happened traditionally in that environment in this cycle. Well, forward gains from each time that occurred. All right, forward gains from each time that occurred. 340%. Let's do this one. Whoops, let me get rid of that. It's not what I was trying to do. So 340% occurrence number one. We had, let's just say, from the time it went back to under 70 here, we had 27%. And then from the time it went over here, back over, we had 48%. So that's starting the week that it went over. So we could potentially be at the start of, what's 27% from here? 27% takes us to 108. 48% takes us to 128. 340% takes us to, 382,000, right? So there's a range of outcomes that are all on the table in terms of probabilities. Obviously, the higher end targets, the lower the probability, but you see where I'm going with this, folks. So very, very healthy market right now, as indicated by power on the RSI. If we go look at some Bitcoin miners denominated in Bitcoin, WGMI still looking very, very good. What I'd love to see is this action on the RSI moving average. You got to check back, you got to break out above, and look at this. Like on the weekly RSI, we are nowhere near, we're not even at 60 yet. So we're not in overbought territory. If we kind of look at, I just like looking at comparisons in terms of power behind the move. Historically speaking, what was some of the upside that was seen from these moments in time? Again, past does not guarantee anything that's going to happen in the future, but we've got one occurrence there. We do have one occurrence there. We have one occurrence here. And so let's just kind of play around with it, speculate. And so from here, we had outperformance that lasted 1, 2, 3, 4 weeks to the tune of 47%. Here we had, essentially, for all intents and purposes, just another week, about 20% outperformance, in the market reversed. Okay. Here back in June 2024, we had 1, 2, 3 more weeks of outperformance, 31%. And so we're going to see. We're going to see if this trend continues, if the power continues. I have a feeling that it does. Again, in my highest probability here. Why? This to me is just energy buildup. We're in the cloud. You've got this DTL, right? And we're coming up. We're really, really close to it, but look where the power is. There is a lot of room on this power to explode out of it, and I'm expecting this next move to challenge the top end of this range. So my expectation is ultimately for the Bitcoin miners to surge, 75% best case scenario against Bitcoin in the coming months. So we're going to keep an eye on that. Excellent. MicroStrategy. Oh, this is MicroStrategy denominated in the Bitcoin miners. Again, this is a tough read for me. I mean, we're just consolidating above this previous all-time high. This is supply. This is supply. And 1, 2, 3, 4 weeks without a rejection. I mean, I don't know, right? See, you'd expect a rejection maybe 2 weeks and then work your way down towards the bottom end of the range. But so far, that's not happening, right? You've got 4 weeks consolidation. Could it be setting up to break out above? It could. Could it be, could this just be one, double top? It could. I don't know. This just, more food for thought. RSI here on the weekly, not really a bearish divergence because it's flat up here, although the power behind the move is dwindling. So that's just worth noting. All right, MicroStrategy. My updated Bitcoin count, my wave count, I posted last night on X. I am looking for an extended fifth. And so right now, I think we made 1, 2, this minor 1, 2. I think we're working on 3, 4, 5, a 5, a 5. And so that's how I'm interpreting the count so far, looking good. Let's take a look at ETH BTC. ETH BTC is potentially reversing here, folks. Potentially, I say. This is a weekly chart. The real area of interest in this chart is here. Okay. That's a key pivot high. Notice what happened when we hit this with the market, right? I'm going all the way back to 2016. Rejection, you exceeded it. Support, flipped it as support, kind of come back, undercut, and then kind of came back above it. Oops, sorry there, folks. So undercut, back, support region, undercut, 1, 2, 3, rejections, and then kind of bottom end of this zone, consolidate back to the top end through it. This channel essentially for what? 1, 2, 3, working on almost 3 years, 4 years, and then just slowly bled. Now looks like, let me clear all these drawings up and zoom in. And this is more so for alts, I think. This is more indicative of potential performance in alts. Although, again, altcoins to me are just they're gambling. I know what Bitcoin is. I know long term what Bitcoin is going to do, in my opinion. I don't know long term what alts are going to do. In the short term, they might have some outperformance, but long term, I think 99.9% of the time they're going to lose value against Bitcoin. That being said, on the weekly chart here, you just have a series of lower lows, right? What's RSI been doing since October of last year? I mean, is that a bullish divergence? I don't know. I mean, it's really long. I like to see them shorter in time. However, there is one thing that is a fact, and the power behind, this downtrend that culminated, if it did end here last week, was lower, not much lower, but lower when the price was the price of ETH BTC was 50% higher than it is today. So that's worth noting. And so we do have a reversal. I do like where this is reversing. You know, if you're in some altcoins and wondering what, you know, this area going all the way back to here is, I mean, let's look at it from this standpoint. Uh, right there, undercut that high back to 2016, swept above it, and now looks to be trying to reclaim it. So that's constructive for ETH BTC and potentially altcoins. Others, I like seeing engulfing candles. Okay, folks, when you get, this is the others chart. When you get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 21, 22 weeks, going back to June of this summer, 22 weeks of price action engulfed in one weekly candle. That is a sign of this reaccumulation phase coming to an end, right? You got a spring, you've got a test, spring, test, last point of support, jump across the creek, right? For all intents and purposes. That's what that is. Let me zoom in a little bit. That's what that is. And now we are not in expansion. We are in a sign of strength. If we look at, let me put this up on a daily. And let me get rid of these drawings. This is a great example, kind of going, really piggybacking off of some of the other videos I've done. Like so. All right, so let's take a look at this. April. This is really it, right? This is preliminary supply, right? Support, support, resistance, resistance, right? And then boom, spring, test, last point of support, kind of working its way out, sign of strength, expansion, I believe, is next. Really cool to see that in action, the confluence of all these different things. All right, folks, that's it for the premium video. Let me know if there's any requests. I can't promise that I can get to them, but I'll try given time. But surely expect more of these, frequency of these videos to increase. Hope you have a great rest of your week. Take care.